Hello, SMG, goys, girls, chuds alike. It has been a long time since I got the inspiration to make a video, and one Anon in this general kind of pulled the linchpin and made me decide, yeah, it's time. I think it's time to come back. And I'll get into that later. But I've noticed that the general has sort of lost its way, as it normally does when I disappear. And I've also noticed that nobody's making money, as is tradition when I disappear. So, without further ado, I think it's time to say, Daddy is back. So, you may be asking yourself, who was the one that finally made me decide to make the next video? This person brought me back to my roots. I forgot for a moment. The person that finally made me take the next step was Poemanon. Poemanon is of the sweetest of BB boys. He is a rich fag. He's already made it. He's very down on himself. For the life of me, I can't understand it. If I had the amount of money he had, he talks like he doesn't have $5 million. He's sitting on like $500,000. If I had that kind of money, I wouldn't have a care in the world. Anything you could possibly want, you can ultimately buy. And his issue is that he wants a woman in his life. And I would say follow the footsteps of Scoopsies. Scoopsies is swimming in clown pussy. And clown pussy is not exactly hard to come by, especially in his area, because prostitution is considered to be a legitimate job. So you have these severely mentally ill daddy issue clown pussy women that he could just simply buy. They would do whatever he wanted, as long as you have the money. So Poemanon really did bring it out of me, because every time I see him talk poorly of himself, it hits me. Because it's not right. All of you here should feel good about yourself in some capacity. There's always somebody that has it worse than you. You may think you're down and out. Most of you are probably young. I mean, look at me. I'm 37 years old and I'm living like a king. So this video, more or less, is kind of just me dipping my toes in the water again. As I said before, I go on vacation after tomorrow. I work one more day and then I'm on vacation until next Monday. So I thought, you know what? I've locked myself out of all of my online casino accounts. I've spent a tremendous amount of money on sports cards, and I think it's time to stop for a moment. So I'm staying up super late tonight to make this, very late, but I have nothing else to do, quite frankly. Without gambling, I don't know what to do. I'm lost. And that's the same for most of you. However, I have not been in the markets for a while, but there are some things that need to be addressed. So for starters, there is an Anon here who has made I would go as far as to call him the next Cliff Tranny. Hopefully he's not as fucking stupid as Cliff Tranny. There is an Anon here who has gone very, very heavily into SMCI options, puts particularly, so super microcomputer. He is shorting semis, so he's doing well so far from what I've seen, but I would say this is again a cautionary tale, because we've seen what can happen when somebody is hell-bent on making money for the sake of being proven right. I will always say, in the case of any sort of options are gambling. I would say that options are less fair than a fucking Vegas slot machine. I've said that time and time again. You guys are playing with fire with options. The only way to win in the stock market, realistically, long-term, guaranteed, is to buy and hold. If you want your get-rich quick scenarios, or even if you want to gamble and make money. I'm a gambler. I love fucking slot machines. I gamble, but I gamble with money I can afford to lose, and that is the difference between some of you. That is the difference between what happened with Tinny. Tinny gambled money that he could not afford to lose. Tinny flew too close to the sun. He bought. See, that's the thing about options. Had Tinny bought his options that were dated out a little bit later, he would not be stranded in Korea alone as a schizo. He would have enough money to where he would have been married to a nice Southeastern Asia tranny, perhaps. That is the goal. That's what everybody wants. But instead, he got greedy, he got stupid, he got sloppy. So I guess I want this Anon to continue to update us, because the only thing I ask of this Anon is to not get reckless. Okay, if you get up a lot of money, do not stop yourself from selling because you're worried about taxes, capital gains taxes. You're going to pay those taxes no matter what. No matter what, there is no scenario where you're not going to pay capital gains taxes. So there's nothing wrong with getting out. Say you're if now for starters, SMCI is down 40% in the last month. How much farther do you really think that's going to fall? There are people in my tribe that can turn that 40% around in 2 weeks. So I want you to be careful with that. But it's your money and you're a grown man. You can do what you want with it. But I would just say take profits when it's appropriate, and please keep us updated, because I want to know what becomes of this. Is there going to be a Cliff Tranny Part 2? Maybe. I suppose we'll see. It depends on the demeanor of the Anon. But I would just say, if nothing else, keep us updated with pictures and screenshots. The next order of business is a piece of advice for you guys in terms of what to invest in. Now, I don't have a lot of research done yet, but I will. But I will say that something that's been on my radar for a long time now is BlackRock. Yes, you will say BlackRock is the most evil company on the planet. You would be right. But think of how much power BlackRock almost assassinated a former president running for re-election. That's power that is dangerous, scary, and impressive. I think that a good hedge, not for the stock market, but for humanity, is to buy into BlackRock, because there are two scenarios that play out. One, BlackRock takes over the world and we're all enslaved. If that were the case, you're heavily invested in this company, and therefore you will rise above. You will own nothing and you will be happy. You will be above that, and you'll be laughing at those people down there and saying you will own nothing and you'll be happy. Or BlackRock succumbs and collapses due to some revolution. God help us all, I hope it happens. And then you lose all of that money. But at that point, think about humanity is saved. Freedom is saved. The United States is saved. Who gives a fuck about money at that point? I wouldn't give a shit. You could take every dollar I have if I knew that BlackRock and all of their subsidiaries and allies collapsed. So I figured, what the fuck? Why not just buy into BlackRock at that point? And no, I am not a BlackRock asset, so don't even try and say that, because I despise Larry Fink, and I think he's literally an evil demon. He's a demon person, and their agenda is just rotten. So that's a stock tip. Do what you want with that. I would never ever buy options on BlackRock, because they don't work that way. They are like Berkshire. They don't spike. They're not volatile. They're very consistent. Something that's become concerning to me. Now, see, years ago, when we dealt with sexual degeneracy in this general, it was very simple stuff. It was things like, as you saw in the intro, Selena the Goblina. It was like liking brown girls. It was like liking Koreans, disgusting. It was foot faggotry. Now, foot fags used to be the bottom. Like, that was, if you were into feet, you were a disgusting mongrel. And I still stand by that to this day. I think people who are into feet, there's something fun, there's damage in the brain somewhere that makes them attracted to disgusting fucking feet. Hey, Nobody's perfect. You like what you like, I guess. But with feet, there's nothing attractive there, and there's no winners. I've heard all the explanations. Well, if feet are gross, why do they wear those shoes and paint their nails? It doesn't matter. If they look good, that's fine, but you don't want to be anywhere fucking near them. All right? It's disgusting. Foot cheese rubbed up against you, putting it in your mouth. We've all seen what happened to CRP, Pajit. He thought he was into foot faggotry, and then he finally got like some 80-year-old white woman to take off her shoes, and he deep-throated her big toe, and he vomited everywhere because there was so much shoe dust on her feet. It's disgusting. Okay, foot faggotry is not something to be promoted, and it's not something to be idolized. So just getting that out there. But we've reached a new level of confusing sexual deviancy, and that is and I've seen this really get out of control, is people posting extreme breast and ass inflation pornography. So seeing women or anime girls with tits that are like 500 times their body and growing, or their asses. I don't get that one. That one, I mean, what could possibly be erotic about that? What can you possibly do with 5,000 kilogram of breasts? It's not manageable. That is a landmass, okay? You can't do anything with that. There's nothing to get off to. Same with the ass. Now, in the case of the ass, you might be dealing with a sort of rare connoisseur brat in that scenario, but you would never get through the crack to smell the brat, and that's the problem. Is you would be digging and digging and digging, and if the ass would be so big from inflation that you'd never even get to the brapper in the first place, or the bussy in some scenarios. You'd never get close enough. So you're fighting yourself with the inflation. You want to get to the middle. You can't get to the middle when it's that large. So I officially do not condone breast or ass inflation pornography in this general. Just wanted to say that officially on the record. Anyone asked me earlier this week about what it's like to own another man's asshole or bussy. I prefer to say the more clean term or pleasant term. What does it feel like? Well, in my case, Scoopsies has belonged to me for the better part of 7 years. So what is it like? It's invigorating. It really is. To have what you want there when you want it, and you would say, well, there are laws in place to prevent you from doing that. Not really. Not preventively. They could get me after the fact, but they're not going to get me before the fact. So if I say if I wanted to go over to Seattle, if I wanted to go to Snoopsy's place to take his pussy, he could not physically overpower me. You see his twinkish frame. There's nothing he could really do to stop me. Even if he were to have a gun, I would be able to zigzag my way around that gun, grab it, and then it would be it. And then if I wanted to put him into a mating press, I could. I would say it's a really good feeling. And I think that every single person in this general should find that one person that you can sexually dominate, mostly for power, but if you wanted to for pleasure. I think it's really important in every young man's life, every young Zoomer's life who is on 4chan, to find that person, find that thing, and just take control of it. I didn't ask for permission. I would never ask for permission. I did what I wanted. And you can do the same thing if you really want to, but that is up to you. You know, your destiny is in your hands. Fate is what we make it, as they said in Terminator. So that's what it feels like. It feels real powerful. It feels great to know that I could do whatever I want to that man if I felt like it. Not, again, the law could get me after the fact, but they're not going to get me before the act. So that's just the way it is, Everything's after the fact. So just wanted to lay that out there for the guy who asked me what it feels like. That's what it feels like. Now, I'm not a criminal, and I'm not a degenerate, so I would never do such a thing, but I could, and I want him to know that. So just wanted to gloss over that. The next thing up is, so again, Pomanon. I think we all have it. We all have it to be able to we need to rise Pomanon up. There's no reason for that man to be so depressed and angry and to break inanimate objects within his home. I don't see a point for that. He's got things so good. I guess maybe Pomian needs to live in the gutter, needs to scrape the bottom to really know how good he's got it. He could come live a day in my shoes if he wanted to. You could see, what it's really like. He's not even working right now. He's day trading, which you shouldn't be day trading. I think with the amount of money you have, you could probably not live off of dividends, but you can make enough off of dividends, and through dividend reinvestment programs, combined with a fucking fun part-time job, just some bullshit. You don't have to care, because if you get fired, it's part-time. Who gives a shit, Like I said, I like making pizzas. If I worked at, say, fucking Pizza Hut or something, I love making pizzas. If I felt like somebody was getting an attitude with me that day, customer, employee, just fucking say whatever you want. Fuck you. Get fired. Who gives a shit? It doesn't matter. And you're getting those dividend payments that are coming in behind you. So that's sort of, it's powerful, and it really is, it's almost not revolutionary, but it's freeing you of having to worry about money or a job when you have something to fall back on. I think it would be freeing, is what it would be, to have that power. I don't have that power. I'm doing very well financially right now, but I'm not on that level that you guys are. Or not you guys. You guys are all fucking broke. Pomian has money. But I think it's important for everyone to raise him up. I kind of lost my train of thought there for a second. I had a word I was hanging on. But anywho, Pomian, you gotta find it within yourself to pull yourself out of this funk, or just get on some good drugs. You have money to go to a fucking psychiatrist or something. They'll put you on some Xanax or some shit. You won't care anymore. So keep that in mind. And then there's one anon that's very curious to me, and that is the Chud Anon. I have named him the Chud Anon. I don't know if he's Red 13 Poster. Red 13 Poster, unfortunately, went through a bit of a Joker arc, origin story, if you will, because most of you don't, actually all of you don't know, that there was a point in time when I was in a transitional period between apartments where I was staying at my parents' place, and I used to stream on Twitch, and there was like 2 or 3 people that would watch me, and one of the people was Red 13 Poster, and I did that for a while, and then shit started rolling. I got my life back on track, got a new place, and I just stopped streaming. I'm not a streamer. I don't stream. But I did because I had a friend who was like, I'm broke and I have nothing going on. I want to watch you play a game, whatever. I played Final Fantasy VIII in that scenario. But and I said, okay, moved on. Went back to the general. Went back to making videos, and this came off as a potential betrayal to this individual. And he had said that I had left him at his most needed time. And I apologize if that was the case, but that was never my intention, and I didn't even realize, maybe it's my autism, but I didn't even realize that was what happened. I just was like, all right, this chapter is done. Turn the page, go to the next chapter. But anyways, to tie this into what I'm talking about here, there's an Anon here, American flag Anon. Oh God, I haven't gotten to flags yet. I don't think I'll get into flags this video, because we have a real flag problem. But this Anon occasionally pops in, just really bad mouths me, which is fine. I'm completely numb to any of that stuff. I've been here long enough. I think being told to kill yourself is almost a term of endearment at this point. But anyways, I hope that Chud Anon is just a general Chud, and not Red 13's villain story. So I don't know. I guess we'll find out, because if he is here, he'll show up and he'll talk about it. But anyways, I'm not going to make this too long. I kind of rambled there for a bit. I guess that's fine. But I will say that I think things are back on track. I don't know exactly what the schedule will be, but I think things are back, because I'm running out of shit to do. Gambling is always going to be my number one love, but I have safeguarded myself against that. So I need to find another outlet of shit to do, I guess. So this might have to be it, I suppose. So all I will say from here on out is,
stay tuned.